Okay, so let's begin. So what is a repeater table? A repeater table is an object that allows you to repeat information about items in a specific category. And by that I mean, for instance, if you look at my airline survey data, I have some data about the airline industry, right? And I would like to show some information for each of the different airlines. For instance, Cool and Young Airlines, I would like to show the shopping and the eating behavior of the patrons when they flew with this specific airline. But I want to see this information across all these different airlines. So the best way to do this is to create a repeater table, and once I create it, it will repeat the information for all the different airlines. And it is quite, I like using the repeater table quite a lot, and my customers seem to really enjoy consuming repeater table type dashboards or even reports. So I decided to create this demo very quickly to show you guys how you can also use it to elevate your dashboarding or reporting. Okay, so I'm going to start by clicking the plus button. I'm going to select report, and I'm going to go with the one column, and I'm going to select the green theme. I click OK. All right, I'm going to select the data module that I built previously, and it is the satisfaction survey. I click open, and I'm going to start by creating a query. Okay, so let's name this query. I'm going to call it repeater query. I'm going to double click to open it, and I'm going to go to my source, and I'm just going to drag all the items to the query. I go back to the main page. It's a good idea to just name the main page now. I'm going to call it the repeater page. Okay. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to drag the repeater, and I believe it is located in the data containers repeater table. And I'm going to assign it to repeater query, and I'm going to click OK. Immediately, I'm going to put it in the middle so that it is centered. All right, so inside this repeater table, I'm going to create a table, one row, well, 3 rows and 1 column is fine. Ignore this error message. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to turn off repeating because it always confuses me when I'm creating something. So I'm going to first drag the chart visualization. I drag it to the center, and then I'm going to go to charts. I'm going to look for column chart, and I'm going to select the clustered column, and I'll click OK. All right, for some reason Cognos drops it at the bottom, so let me drag the chart over to the second row of the table. All right, so let's assign the chart to the repeater query as well. All right, so now I'm going to start adding the values that I wanted to show in my chart, which will be shopping. Actually, let's drag it from the repeater query so that it doesn't show up again. So I'm going to go with shopping and eating. Okay, there it is. Okay, and then I'm going to use the month for the x-axis. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sort the month by the month number so that it goes from January, February to March. And I'm going to select the month number here. Okay, and we want it to go ascending. All right, now we need to create a master detail relationship. This is, I think, the most important point of the whole demo. And the thing that might complicate, confuse a few people when you start using the repeater table is you have to create a master detail relationship between the chart and the repeater table. So that is very simple. And once you get over this hurdle, it will be blue skies. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to create a master detail relationship between the airline name. So for each airline, I want a new chart to be displayed. All right, now let's go to the repeater table. There are a few things I want to check here. I want the repeater to repeat twice for each row. You see in this output, Actually, it's repeating 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I want it to repeat 3 times across, and for the bottom, I'll just put 10. Okay, so that it repeats multiple times, but 3 times for each row. Okay, so now in Cognos 11, you can, whilst you are developing a report, you can look at it in preview mode. And it is a very good idea because I want to see if what I'm doing is right or not. All right, so in preview mode, I see that I am doing the right things and things look good. But let's do something else. Right now, it is difficult to tell which is which. I don't know which of these charts belong to which airline. So a cool trick to do is to associate the page with the report. This way, I can very easily start dragging these attributes onto the report. Okay, and it will make sense when I show you. I'm going to select the page. I'm going to assign it to the repeater query. Once I do this, once the query is assigned to the page, I can drag airline name onto the screen, and you are going to see something magical. Okay, see, now the moment I drag the airline name onto the screen, it is showing all the different airlines and their different charts. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to select the font, and I'm going to go with 14. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to make it Arial black because everyone starts taking you seriously when you use Arial black fonts. All right, okay, so let's see how it looks like. It's going to come up in a little bit. Okay, so very good. Let's center it, and this is why it's so fun to design when you are in preview mode, because you can actually see what is happening. So let's center it. Okay, it's looking good. Let's change the color. Okay, so I select the first chart and I go over to the palette here, and I'm going to go with the default. So I select that, and that is also going to change the colors. Okay, so far so good, but I don't like the fact that there's a bit of data bullying going on here, and I call it data bullying because one of the airlines, probably this airline, has a lot of data, and because of this is forcing all the other airlines with a smaller the smaller, I guess, shopping and eating activity to show very tiny charts, and that is not cool. So to change that, let me go to the design view. It is easier to get to that. I'm going to select the edge here, and I'm going to go to axis range, and I'm going to turn off the same range for all instances of the chart. I'm going to turn that off, and if we go back to preview mode, the data bullying should go away. And the data bullying is something I came up with. okay, so now you see that all the charts are now, they are behaving sensibly now. You see this chart, for instance, is showing 250,000 here, and this is showing 300,000, whilst before they were all static. Remember, West Airlines is now, the charts just look bigger. Okay, all right, so let's do some more things. I want to show the value. Okay, so to show the value, I want to show the values. This 300, when I highlight this bar, it tells me that it's 317, but I would like to actually show that value. So I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to go to show values. There are a lot of things that are quite hidden in Cognos, and it might take quite a bit of time to find them if you are not familiar with where they are. Okay, so when this comes back, you see that now it's showing the values. Okay, so it's looking pretty. My months are sorting because I have already changed that. Okay, so let's augment this a little bit. Let's choose shopping, and I'm going to change the data format to dollars. Okay, so currency, and 0 decimal places is fine. Let's go with 0 decimal places. Okay, and it's going to show the dollars. Okay, showing the dollars here, and then I'm going to select eaten as well. I'm going to go to data format, and I'm going to show the currency. All right, cool. So in this space, I'm going to drag a table here, and the table is going to be 4. I think 4 columns will be fine, and it will be 2 rows. I hit OK. and the table shows up shortly. And in fact, I'm going to go over to the design mode, because when you use the preview mode, because the data has to display, it takes a bit of time. Okay, so here I believe it is flight distance that I chose, and flight distance, and because the page is associated to the query, I can simply go over to my query and drag flight distance here, and that is that. I don't have to complicate my life by doing anything else. Okay, so what else did I have? I have satisfaction, I have depart delay, and then you know, average age. Okay, so satisfaction, I'm going to go over to the toolbox again. I'm going to drag a test, and satisfaction. Alright, satisfaction, let's drag satisfaction over here as well, and then we are going to format it as well. And when I click on it, you know, the wonderful thing about Cognos 11 now is that every time you click on an item, the toolbar comes up and you can very quickly apply any formatting. So satisfaction, I'm going to give it 2 decimal places number, because if I put it as 0, for instance, it's going to show all the airlines had a score of 3. So 2 decimal places makes sense. The flight distance, I believe that will be number, but I'll make it 0 decimal places. Okay, and what else? I believe I had the age. So age, I'm going to get the age here. Let's drag it over here, and then I'm going to pull the test. Actually, I believe I have it the other way. Okay, so let me drag the age over to this box. Come on. All right. There you go. Okay, so now I believe this is the delay in minutes. Let's go over to the data items, and delay in minutes is over here, delay in minutes. Okay. All right, so let's make this bold, and let's make it bold, and again, let's use Arial Black to be taken seriously. Let's make it 9 and apply. And a cool trick, if you're not aware, is that, you know, I can apply this bold setting to all these other little attributes by just clicking this and copying. I can copy the font or all the styles. The difference here is if I pick all the styles, then any style that is applied to this flight distance will be applied to all the different attributes. But if I just pick the font, then the font will be the only thing. Literally, it will just change it to the font size that I picked. But I want to choose all the styles, including the Arial bold, okay, the Arial black, sorry. All right, so let's apply it to this as well. Age, but I believe you get the idea. Okay, so let's go to the preview mode. And see what the report is looking like. Okay, so far it's looking pretty good. And by the way, you can also sort the repeater. Okay, so in this case, let me select the repeater table, and I want to sort the entire repeater by flight distance. Okay, so let's go over here and let's drag the airline name to the group, and I want to sort by the flight distance. So let's go over to flight distance. Where is the flight distance? And I want to sort it ascending or descending. Let's sort it descending. So I highlight that, and now it is sorted descending. So I believe Northwest should disappear from here. Okay, so is it working? 1391, 1290. Yep, it's working now. So now the Cool and Young Airlines travel the longest distance. Okay. All right, so for age, let's also format the age to number, 2 decimal places. All right. Okay, so the background, I believe that I'm going to make the background a white color. So let's go over to the design mode. Make the background of the repeater table white. Okay, so the background is going to be gray. Let's make it gray, light gray. Hit apply. Okay, and I'm going to change the border. Let's go to the border, and I'm going to pick the light green color. This is just a bit of finesse, you know. I just want the chart to look a bit nicer, but there are literally hundreds and hundreds of tips that I could show now, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to go too much into that. So let's see what it looks like now. Okay, so I have the green, okay, but it's around the entire singleton. Yeah, I think it looks fine. If I wanted to put it around if I wanted to put the green around each of the airlines, then I should have selected this. So yeah, we can still do that. It's not a big deal. That is the advantage of, you know, developing in design mode, because you get to see what you are doing, even though it takes a bit of time to run. But because I did it blindly on the other side, I put the green on the singleton instead of putting it on the table, I believe. So let's see. All right, so this is what I had before initially. I'm not going to show everything because of time. So I'm just going to add one prompt for the new users who are not familiar with adding prompts. The beauty part is I can literally select equal plus. Now that I have these all these different chart information for the different airlines, I can add as many prompts as I want, and now my users can consume this data across the class category for all the airlines, and they can also analyze the behavior of the patrons within the different age ranges. Okay, so yes, let's add the prompt to the report I was building. So let's go to the one that I'm building, which is new report, and let's go to the design mode, and I'm going to add one prompt. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, so to add a prompt, my strategy always is to build the query first, and I'm going to call this prompts. Okay, and I'm going to build the class prompt. So I'm going to go to the source pane, and I'm going to open the prompt, and I'm going to drag the class in here. All right, so going back to the main page, I'm going to place the prompt right here. All right, I'm going to go over to my toolbox, data container, where are you, prompt, inside prompting, value prompt, and I'm going to call this class, and I'm going to click finish. All right, and then I'm going to assign the query that I created to the container. Okay, and I'm going to say, well, let's use class, and let's display class, and let's sort by class. Fantastic. Let's just cut this out of here, and then let's put a table in here so that everything looks really polite. Let's drag this in here, and then let's put the test here as well. Let's call it class space, and you see that it's sort of all over the place here. So let's just select the box, and then I'm just going to take the 100% off so that it's a bit smaller, and we are going to center it as well. Okay, so finally now we have to apply the prompt, right? We have to apply that filter to the query. Okay, so I'm just going to go class is equal to, and we go over to, I'm actually going to do another class where I show you guys how all of this works. So if you are getting a bit confused, don't be. I'm going over to this tab here, the parameters tab, and I'm going to drag the class parameter that I just created. Okay, that is not what I wanted. I'm going to drag it over in front of the equal sign. I hit OK. I'm going to make this prompt optional. And one last thing, let's go over to the repeater page. I'm going to make this auto submit so that when I select something, it auto submits immediately. All right, so let's go to preview mode, see what it's looking like. Okay, All right, preview mode, everything looks fine. I'm going to now run the report. You know, there's a difference between the preview mode and actually running the report. So we are running the report now. And since I made the prompt optional, the report should pop up automatically. Okay. And now I'm going to select my class. Let's go with echo. And because I selected auto submit, the report is going to refresh accordingly. Okay. So there's a lot more that I can do or show, but obviously due to time, I'm going to stop here. And yeah, so it looks good. If I suggest you guys try this out. I use repeater tables a lot because it is quite easy. And you know, as you see, you can there is limitless what you can do. I mean, you can literally drag so many items here. You can put 2 charts here. You can put a list report, and it will repeat for each of the different categories. So if you have a country, if you have some data, you want to show it across country, for instance, you know, you could see Ghana here, you can see USA, you can see China, and then you can see all the information. Imagine if you have some salespeople and you want to show their information, and you want to show, you know, literally you could even put, imagine you have some salespeople and each of them report to a supervisor, right? You could put a supervisor prompt here, and then for the salespeople that report to that supervisor, you can put little charts of their behavior, you know, maybe a trend chart, and then maybe there are pictures as well, you know, because upper management always loves pictures in their reports, so that they actually can put a face to each of the charts. So, you know, like I said, there are hundreds of different things that I could do. I'm actually getting excited just sitting here because I'm thinking of all the ways I could augment this this dashboard. But hopefully you learned something, and you actually you're able to use it, and you can impress your superiors. Okay, thank you very much.